Last week, Shelby and I commented on the very first episode of a reality TV show that we're competing on called RV Unplugged. Episode 2 aired on Wednesday, and after watching the episode, Shelby and I are very excited to share some of our thoughts and to share some of the behind the scenes things that you wouldn't know about from just watching the episode. Hey everyone, welcome to the Bimble Effect. We're Jack and Shelby.
And this week we're going to be commenting on episode 2 of RV Unplugged.
Yeah, so if you haven't seen episode 2, you might want to go back and check that out because we're going to be giving some behind the scenes stuff on some of the scenes that you might have seen on the show. What? Too many scenes?
A lot of scenes.
Well, there's a lot of scenes. That's the thing. There's a lot of scenes. It's a good show. So you might want to go back and check it out. You can find the show at the RV Unplugged YouTube channel. You can also find it on the web, on the main website, which is rvunpluggedtv.com. In addition, it's streaming on a streaming service called RVTV. It's a pretty cool streaming service. It's all RV related, but there's a bunch of shows, some additional content only on RV related topics. So it's pretty nice. You might want to check that out too. It's RVTV. So let's get into this week's episode. It's pretty wild.
Yeah, a lot happened.
Episode 2. A lot happened.
Yeah, Team Blue actually won both challenges.
Well, you just jumped right ahead.
I know, but I got so excited I couldn't help it.
Well, although Team Blue did win, that doesn't mean we won. Because one of them was...
No. Well, I don't know.
We're getting a little ahead of ourselves. So,
yeah. Well, if you've seen the episode, the Back It Up Terry, you'll see that Team Blue almost did not survive as a team because Jack drives 100 miles an hour and was whipping everybody around the corner. Right. We almost ended up in the warehouse.
But that's not where... I know you want to get right to that. I know you want to get right to the humiliation of my driving. I can tell. Well, but that's not where the episode started.
Okay, well, where did it start?
Okay, what if I promised you we'll get to the bad driving? Because I could see you're anxious
I know,
about
I get
that.
so excited to talk about his bad driving.
I believe it was good driving. This is me. But you'll have to wait for that. Just a few minutes.
Or you could comment and ask Team Blue what they think about Jack's driving.
We'll come to the finale rally and you get to ask everybody what they think and how it negatively affected our team eventually. But we'll get to that in the future. So let's start with the fact that there was a couple on both the blue and on the red that had a Burlap secret pouch that gave them a key.
I know.
This is how it started. This is how the whole episode started.
Yeah, that was really cool. I mean, it was so small. I don't know how they found it. I mean, out of all of the territory where we all were running around like crazy people, they found these little tiny Burlap secrets.
There was only one per side, meaning one per team in the area where we were all building the tents, as you might have seen in episode 1, where we had to build tents. And
Tabitha's got Hawkeye.
Well, it was Kevin and Tabitha that found it. Well, actually, Tabitha found it. And on the other team, it was Jess and David that got it.
Yeah, but the Ketos found it.
That's right, Rachel.
Rachel found it.
Rachel with her Hawkeyes.
With her Hawkeyes, Rachel found it, but ended up giving it to Jess.
Right. Okay, so a lot of our friends have asked us about this after they saw it happen. And this is on the red team, not the blue, but a lot of our friends asked, well, what do you think about the fact that Rachel gave it to Jess and Jess kept it and didn't give it back to her? So here's our opinion on that.
Yeah.
I think it was 100% correct, actually, on both parts. I'm going to start with Rachel. Has anyone ever bought something from IKEA and you have to build it yourself, or you get some kind of piece of furniture, or sometimes the hardware comes in a little pouch, or maybe it's not burlap, but it looks like it is sometimes, and it looks like that's holding the contents of hardware, and someone's going to need it. I can 100% understand why Rachel would have handed that, hey, when they need it, it's going to be in here, and let it go.
Because they were all running around. I mean, just like you're saying, it could have been parts to the solar, like putting together the solar. We had so many components that we had to put together. Mm-hmm. So I probably would have done the same thing.
I mean, 100%. Now, if you're watching it on TV and you're like, oh, you should be looking for some kind of secret, that also makes sense. I get that. I mean, we watch enough of these other reality shows where I'm pointing at the screen, blaming people for not seeing something that's right in front of your eyes.
I definitely didn't see it.
I can tell you it's different when you're in it. Yeah. I 100% get why Rachel might have done that. Yeah. But now what about Jess not giving it back to Rachel?
I know, you get to see it from both sides, and I can see both ways. I can see why some people would say she should have given it back, but then I can see why some people say she did the right thing. I mean, after all, it is a competition.
So somebody did make a comment. I think it was somebody commenting online to the show, said, in the early stages, I would give it back to show I'm a team player. In the later stages, I would keep it for the team. I really like the concept of that. Yeah. I just completely disagree. If you've got some advantage for your team and it was given to you by someone else, I would keep it. That's what I would do. I would keep it. And this is me.
I don't know what I would do, honestly. I think people might have an opinion, but until you're in it and in that situation, I think it's kind of hard to judge what one person would do and what another person
You're right.
would do.
I think I would keep it. But then if it did happen, sometimes I don't even know.
I know.
But anyway, I don't think I don't think anybody was wrong in that scenario.
No, definitely not.
It's hard to say anyone was wrong right there. But anyway, here was the result. Kevin and Tabitha go in. They get basically what the key token gives you is the opportunity to go into the key room. They went into the key room, got a key, and opened up a box. Both of the couples did this.
Yeah.
And they got an actual what do they call the tokens when it's a benefit? Advantage. An advantage.
Yeah.
So each of them got an advantage. Just so happens the advantage for both teams was the same, and it is the changing lanes advantage, which if you saw season 1, it was Chad and Tara from Changing Lanes, the YouTube channel. Yeah. This gave you the option to change lanes. It was pretty cool where you can kind of swap an opponent, a team.
But nobody really knew what it was going to be. So
yeah.
at that point, even though you got the changing lanes, none of us knew what it was going to do anyway.
Well, it came with some esoteric 900-word dissertation as to how it can be used or not used.
The novel that was in the chest.
Hey, can you read that again?
I know.
Hey, you mind reading that again? Can we read that again? I have to take a picture of it.
Kevin said for Tabitha to read it because he didn't have his glasses. The funny thing is, a lot of us wear reading glasses now. Yeah. And I don't think I could have read it either. So that was pretty funny. At least Tabitha was able to read it.
But regardless, we now know that it was an advantage that both teams had, and it was a team advantage. Now, I mean, I didn't really have a feeling on that because I knew it was too early for us to use it.
Right.
But it is a dual team challenge, and I guess we're going to have to wait to see how that plays out.
I know. Who knows? But that does lead us into the back it up, Terry, which I got a little excited. No, not yet.
No.
Oh,
what are you jumping to it again?
I mean, I'm just a little excited to talk about it.
What the next thing that happened after that, as we're staring up at Todd, not knowing what the world has to offer, Todd explains the tokens and how the tokens work. Man, you just want to get right to this back it up, Terry.
Honestly, I didn't pay attention a lot of the times because I was just so excited. So that's what you can just refresh my memory. So
the tokens came next. Todd stands up in front of all of us on his stage overlooking his people.
He was like King Todd.
He was King Todd with his baseball cap crown.
Yeah.
He explained, this is helpful to know. He explains a little bit about the tokens and a little bit about how each episode's going to play out moving forward. So each episode's going to have an individual challenge, and it's going to have a team challenge. Now, the team challenge is pretty straightforward.
Yeah, and sometimes coaches' challenges.
Well, the coaches' challenge would kind of be on top of it, but wouldn't really have a massive effect on going home. Whereas the team challenge is super important because whatever blue or red, whatever team wins that episode's challenge does not have to vote someone off. Yeah. The losers do have to vote someone off.
Yeah.
So it's important that your team has some strength and that we work together and that the members on the team jive, or what would be the word? Cohesiveness. I like that better.
We had teamwork. Really, we were all really compatible on the blue team.
Yeah,
like-minded with the way we go about challenges, and
like everyone has a job to do. Everyone has a task.
Yeah, we communicated really, really well.
I love that.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's some importance to these team challenges because if you lose, you could get voted off. Pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
Where it gets interesting is with the individual challenges, because it's almost every team, every couple for themselves.
Right.
And if you win the individual challenge, you could win an advantage that would be beneficial for just the couple.
Yes.
Which could be an immunity to getting voted off.
Yeah.
Is that a good thing?
You know, I think it could be and it could not be.
Why could it not be? Or why would you think it's not a good thing?
True.
Why is it not a good thing to get that key, get into that room, and have a shot at getting some form of immunity? Why is that not a good thing?
Let us know what you think.
Yeah.
But it really, one thing I did learn when that did happen is you kind of do get a target on your back.
That's it.
So it might not be a good thing.
Well, it's not. I think
Yeah.
it's not a good thing for so many reasons. Number one, all you've earned was a key token. That gets you in the room. In the room, there's a series of keys that you have to select one of that could open a lock.
Yeah.
And then there's 2 boxes with a lock on it, or 3.
Yeah.
So run the odds on that. I mean, at just the simple math on that first option is if there's 2 keys and 2 boxes, you have a 25% chance.
It's
of
kind of like
opening the
that
right
game
lock.
show when we were young.
Oh,
Let's
yeah.
make a deal.
Let's
Or
make a
Monty Python. What is it? Monty Hall?
Monty Python. That's
Monty
good.
Python.
That's good. That's real good.
That's not it.
It's a flesh wound.
Monty Hall.
Does anyone else know any Monty Python lines? Throw that in there. Let's make a deal with Monty Python.
Make a deal.
I fart in your general direction. That was one of my favorite lines. How do we get into Monty Python?
I don't know.
Right off the rails.
I know.
Oh, wait, are we talking about Back It Up, Terry, again? I mean, why don't we just jump to that?
Terry.
Yeah. So anyway, I hope that our incoherent explanation of the tokens is in some way helpful as a behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But that's how it works. We find value in both of these challenges. However, if you win the individual challenge, is there a chance you wind up going into that key room, not getting any advantage,
Yeah.
and still have a target on your back?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's too early to tell.
It is too early to tell.
But I'm not sure if I would have. I don't know.
Anywho, now I think it's time for Back It Up, Terry.
You ever see an ostrich put its head in the ground and think no one can see it? Well, I just closed my eyes, so you can't see me. All right, so we have to go through this. First of all, we all know how well I can drive and tow a trailer, don't we? If you haven't seen episode 1 of the Bimble Effect,
No, he can't.
reference back to that. You might want to check out that first episode that we ever put out, where I essentially tipped our RV
That was our
into
first
a creek.
trip ever, and you almost lost our brand new RV.
It was 1 day old. Anyway,
Let's go back to positive.
I have
stuff.
learned how to tow much better since that day. It was a trolley. It's not a tow.
With the Back It Up, Terry. It's not a trolley.
It was a trolley. It wasn't even a trailer. It was not a trailer. All right. So if you saw the episode,
I think there's an actual name for it, though.
interruption. Is that the name for it?
Yeah.
Interruption, when somebody cuts you off.
I was still on the last
Oh,
spot.
okay. All right. I think there's a name for it. So you saw that the challenge was to one member of the couple has to drive a go-kart or a golf cart.
Which of you two are driving?
I am.
All right. So then we'll hand this to you.
And I wish it was a go-kart. The other member has to sit in the back and offer some suggestive information,
Assistance.
if that's what you're calling it.
We're way off.
It looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Some help in a way that the driver would not gain otherwise, like talking about what's back there or which way to go, or if you're coming close to a cone or whatnot. You saw it there. And, you know, I might have to make a claim right now
Yeah.
that I'm not sure if I received the greatest of assistance.
Listen, the matriculation
Oh.
of the 4 axles that were bending up against the back axle,
So there's only
causing
2
it
axles.
to turn,
Right, there's 2.
and in a lot of squeakiness with a lot of guidance of cones. I think I did pretty good.
We're visiting the warehouse here.
What type of assistance did I get? We're heading towards the warehouse.
I yelled he's gonna hit the warehouse.
Apparently, I know. I need to see cones, which I can't see. Everyone can see the warehouse.
If anybody could get a speeding ticket in a trolley golf cart, it would be you.
All I knew is it was going to be so bad I had to come in as fast as possible because it was timed.
You almost lost our entire team off of Back It Up Terry.
They didn't broadcast the screams.
I know they didn't because
it might have been too much for small children.
It would have been.
Yeah.
Because everybody was screaming. I actually had to pull Daryl back on. I had to catch him because he was like flying off.
Remember Daryl was flailing out the side? You had to grab him by...
I was like, Daryl, I got you!
You grabbed him by his gorgeous locks and you pulled him back in.
No, I said, don't leave us, Daryl. Come on, I got you.
All right, time will start now.
But by the time we tried to back that up, I have to defend myself here and all of my teammates except for Kevin.
No, Aaron did amazing.
Well, I thought Aaron won, frankly.
So did I.
I mean, Archer with his instructions, he did better than you.
He did much better than me.
Oh, that's right. It wasn't Archer.
Actually, everybody did good but us.
No, I mean, most folks didn't get in there at all. No?
Well, mad props to Kevin and Tabitha for winning.
I mean, it was ridiculous what Kevin did there. But here's the ultimate problem, and here's my defense. It wasn't just a trailer. It wasn't a single axle trailer that you're just backing up the way we would if it was our RVs backing up in a tow. It was a rear steering trolley, which means both axles matriculate, as you said.
Did I say the right word?
No, that's totally wrong.
Wow.
But both axles,
I got excited there for a
both
second.
axles move simultaneously. So that's very helpful when you're steering. If you've ever been on one of those, what is it when you go to Disney and you have to get on the tram? So the tram, what's cool is...
People Mover?
No, that's the Medway People Mover inside of Magic Kingdom. No, I'm talking about when you park and everybody gets on that long, snaky tram. So what's cool is every car behind follows right in line with the lead vehicle because of the way they all steer. And that helps in the going forward position. That does not help going in reverse. Neither does your wife.
Oh, I feel like you're trying to like defend your actions, and
yes, I am.
It was really that bad.
It was so bad. It was so bad. Man, I jackknifed that thing so many times I thought I was going to break it. Seriously, I jackknifed it so much going forward and backward that by the time Daryl got up,
it barely had any battery.
The battery
left.
was dead for that poor man. Oh my goodness.
We're sorry, Daryl.
Can we now talk about your instructions and helping me?
No.
Oh, moving on, I suppose.
I think we should move on from that.
No, I would like to make one comment.
Sure.
I can see the warehouse. I'm aware of the warehouse. So for you to scream that we're getting close to the warehouse, did you think that was helpful?
I did, because you were going so fast, I had to save Daryl's life because he flew off the tram trolley and went flying to the warehouse. So that's all I could see.
I thought you were going to say a little close to the cone on the driver's side. We even talked about driver's side, passenger side, like we do when we're backing up the RV.
There was no hope on this one. We were not going to win.
Wow, that's a defeatist attitude.
I
hope there's better things in store for us in this competition.
Of your driving.
Man, we gotta mention the driving every time. All right. So anyway, a little behind the scenes on that. We were terrible. All right. There's your behind the scenes on that particular one.
But you know who wasn't terrible?
Kevin.
The winners.
Kevin
and Tabitha. And then
No. He was awful. He was terrible. Until 10 seconds were left, and then he was like Superman.
It seemed like there was no way to do it. Down to the wire. You got 10 seconds to go.
Just head straight back. Let's get as close as we can.
10 seconds.
And somehow, just before that 10 seconds, I've got the trailer wheels. They seem to be straight enough. I heard Todd say 10, and I was like, that's it. And I just gunned it. I mean, it was a miracle.
Keep going, stop.
Time.
Lo and behold, we made it.
Yes, you are right. But in the end, they won.
They did.
And then they got to go they got another advantage. They were like,
advantage
insane.
King and Queen.
I know.
Yeah, we're gonna have to figure out. We're gonna have to find out what that advantage was. But so anyway, there was the individual challenge. Yeah. We didn't do so good. All right, well, whatever. Let's see what's happening with this team challenge. And what was it?
Wakeboarding.
So the only thing they told us early on was there's going to be a driving challenge and then a water challenge.
Yeah.
We figured I would do the driving challenge because, as you all agree, I'm a pretty good driver. And then Shelby would do the water challenge, whatever that might be. We didn't know it was going to be wakeboarding. Shelby's never done wakeboarding.
Or that it was going to be in a lake filled with gators.
Yeah, and later on we actually did see gators. They
Yeah.
didn't put that on the TV
They
either.
did not.
But there were gators on the show.
That was very scary for a lot of us, because a lot of us, it was our first time, and majority of girls were doing that, except for Dustin, because Leslie drove the Back It Up Terry, and then Aaron. Everybody else was girls, and most of us don't even go in lakes.
No. Well, especially since you don't get many showers. You go to that brown lake. That was,
It
first
was
of all.
so dirty.
So I'm going to just jump in. First thing I would like to say about, I didn't wakeboard, Shelby did, and the majority of our team were the girls wakeboarding with Aaron. I could not be more proud of all the girls, everyone who
they
wakeboarded,
kicked butt.
both teams. I mean, first of all, Ashanti, right? So Ashanti has a legitimate fear of doing this. Not just, oh, I haven't done it before, let me try something. She had a fear. And I watched that girl suit up and jump in that freezing water and get up on the board. And I mean, she did it as scared as she was, and then hit the water so hard that the water flooded in and choked her.
Yeah.
And if you watch the episode, it brought her to tears when she got out of the water.
There you go. Kick it sideways.
I was able to get in there and I kicked butt. I got my 2 points and I was able to stand up and accomplish something that I didn't think I could do at 53.
She ended up having to go over to the booth and get warmed up and stuff because it was so cold.
They didn't show that either.
They didn't get, you guys didn't get to see that either, but she did it and I'm so proud of her.
Unbelievable, Ashanti. Thumbs up. How brave you were for doing it and actually got up on the thing with your hand strength.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about hand strength, Rachel,
wow.
I mean,
I don't know how she held on that long.
Well,
That's hard. That might even be harder than actually getting up.
It has to be. If you go back and watch that sequence of Rachel not letting go, I think even Joe might have said in even there behind the scenes that she's not letting go.
Right.
All right. So now just come up with all the other imaginative things that could happen. She's just not going to let go. So either that board's going to snap out from under her or she's going to ride around the whole lake, laying on her back, holding on to that thing.
Know.
Come on. And that is, you don't quit. You don't stop. You don't let go. You just keep going. If you die here, you die here, but you die trying. And I think I almost did.
Oh my gosh. She needs to just let go. She can't get up. She's letting go.
And they're all yelling, she needs to let go. And I'm like, she's not going to let go. And they're like, what do you mean she's not going to let go? I mean, and Stacy is like, she needs to let go. Why isn't she letting go? And I'm like, you don't know Rachel.
And I think the one thing that's a little underrated is how much hand strength you need to have to hold on.
It's
so,
crazy.
Rachel, I don't know where you get the hand strength. If it's just sheer determination, then
you go, girl.
You are
did
amazing.
Awesome.
That is absolutely. From the side, we were watching, going, she's never going to let go.
No.
She's gonna. All the guys were like, this is amazing. What is she doing? And sheer tenacity is the way Joe put it, and I agree. So I was blown away by that effort. Unreal. And then Mary.
She did amazing. Oh my gosh, Mary, I don't know. I don't even think there's a word to explain how good Mary did. Like, she was out there like she was a professional.
Well, here's the thing.
And she made it look easy.
Well, here's the thing. When the boat, go back and watch this. When the boat first went and pulled, Mary held on for so long with her hand strength that it shot out of her hand and whipped all the way forward.
Yeah.
So that shows you how hard it is to get up. And I think right then, even Stacy from the shore said it's so hard to get up, and it's true. And then the very next shot, she gets up and she starts going.
Yeah.
And
for a few seconds, she did it with one hand.
Are you kidding me? Unbelievable. I was in shock. So Mary,
she should be an instructor.
She shouldn't. Yeah, she should be an instructor on this. I believe so.
She did amazing.
One-handed wakeboarding with Mary.
Yeah.
That's going to be her new YouTube channel. I'm subscribing.
I know,
I'll tell you that
right?
much. And then there was Shelby, my wife, laying it all out there with your. Oh, you had the little. Our kids loved your little hairnet.
My kids are making fun of me because I wore the swim cap, but the water was so cold and dirty and everything, and we didn't get to take a lot of showers and wash our hair, so I had swamp hair. So I was really trying to keep my hair clean, but didn't really work out that way.
Them even giving it a try.
I really enjoyed the wakeboarding. I've never done that before, so I thought that was super cool.
Get up, girl. Get up, girl.
It definitely was harder than I thought. I actually have a broken blood vessel in my eye, but I really enjoyed it.
Yes, 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 yes! Woo!
You know, it was hard for me out there.
You didn't wakeboard.
It was tough. I had to scream and yell for my wife. And
I thank you for that.
And I was bearing the brunt of doing all that hard work. Lost my voice just cheering for my wife. So
that is true.
I'll do it every time. Cheer as hard as I can.
Oh!
Well, you did great. I mean, I don't even know how you did it. Shelby's never wakeboard, never done that behind a boat.
I've never been skiing or anything like that. I don't really like to get in the waters like that.
With gators.
With gators and gosh knows what else. But
I was so proud when you got up. I mean, and
thank you for cheering for me. I appreciate it.
Well, there's the thing, I will, without thinking of myself, sacrifice. And I did. I sacrificed.
You sacrificed your voice. You actually lost your voice because you were screaming.
Well, here's the thing.
Much.
I know that you also slammed as hard as Ashanti, and you.
Oh, I did really bad.
And you hit your eye so hard
hit
that
my eye so hard
blood,
that it was bleeding, and I had like a broken blood vessel.
It looked awful.
It was
for days.
Was pretty bad.
Just red eye on the inside when you looked in a certain way. So yeah, I mean, your broken blood vessel and all that. But
I was determined to get up because I am very competitive.
But I mean, she didn't lose the eye, right? But I lost my voice.
He did lose his voice.
So this is a story of sacrifice.
Yes.
And I was on the sideline cheering so hard for you that, this is what my voice sounded like.
Hey y'all. Well, first, let me just say my voice is very scratchy. As you know, I was cheering my wife on yesterday in that water. I was giving it all I got. I gave everything I had out there on that water yesterday.
Yeah.
Cheering for my wife who gave everything she had.
Yeah, so that's scratchy and awful to listen to.
It is, yeah.
And that's just a little throwback to the actual day or the next day that it happened. That's what I sounded like as a sacrifice of myself out there. I mean, I gave it all that day on the shore. I gave
As
it all.
our friend Dan Mencher says, I'm one lucky girl.
Yeah, that's what he does say. That means I'm a great guy. Or in some circles, it means there's going to be a fight or something. I'm not even sure what that means. I think that means he likes me a lot. Our good friend Dan.
Yeah.
If any of you know Dan out there, he's a good man. So proud of everybody. But now, here's a little behind the scenes goodie that never made it to air. I don't know why. Because we're talking about being proud of our girls. All right, I have to touch on this. So Todd mentions in the episode that the blue team has to hope to get more points because we're down a player.
A whole player, that's a big deal.
Now, that was mentioned, but it was never covered why we're down a player.
Why were we? That was crazy.
So here's a little bit of behind the scenes goodies on Team Kevin and Tabitha. It was Tabitha that found out what the water challenge was. It's not carrying water in buckets or anything. It's going to be this wakeboarding. Now here's a little. You'll see Tabitha as they tell their story. Tabitha had a surgery on her hip years ago when she was younger, a major surgery. If Tabitha were to stress that hip too much, it could cause permanent damage, a lifetime of damage, additional surgeries. And going on a wakeboard was not an option. However, what did Tabitha say?
She wanted to get out there, and she was even going to get out there and try. But the girls on our team were like, no, we can't let you sacrifice that and stuff. And she was super, super upset because she really wanted to be there for the team, but it just wasn't worth it. So
I mean, Tabitha was crying.
She was.
Tabitha was saying she's not going to listen to anyone else and she's going to go and do it anyway. And the reason, she heard the word forfeit.
Yeah.
That Blue would have to forfeit a player. Tabitha did not like that word.
No.
And she said, I'm going to put it on anyway, and I'm going if the word forfeit is in there. And really, it took a lot of talking just so Tabitha would not try to go in and break her hip.
Yeah.
So the girls on our team are all the girls are just absolutely relentless. Tabitha's going to go out there with her hip and everything. It's great. But Tabitha got on the boat, was out there with everyone, cheering the girls on. So, I mean, kudos to you, Tabitha, for just being an absolute superhero trying to get out there. That was awesome.
I know, that was amazing. So one
made me feel good about the Blue team. I'll tell you what, on that day. Oh my
gosh, yeah. So all of the girls, you know, we came together and we were like, listen, we know that Tabitha would sacrifice for the team, but we wanted to say to her, first of all, thank you for offering to do that. But second, tell her not to worry about it, because the rest of us girls, we're going to step up and take care of it and get some extra points.
Mm-hmm. And not only did the girls do it, if you saw Aaron tearing up the course, going slalom back and forth like he's an instructor or something, going over. He was getting points for going over the wake. That was a big deal.
He's so good at everything.
He racked up points, and it kind of made it look like an insurmountable lead. However, with just a few girls that we had going, those girls alone, without Aaron's points, earned enough points to win for the Blue team themselves. So that was cool. That made us feel good because, you know, we lost that first challenge of building the tent faster. So this helped us now. We won this challenge on this day. So, I mean, I was so happy and so proud cheering from the sidelines, obviously. But really,
it was a great day.
Unbelievable day. So speaking of good days, speaking of awesome things, how about that Jenga tournament at the end of the day between coaches?
That was insane. I think that was the longest Jenga game in the history of the planet.
It was 6 hours and 37 minutes by my clock.
And 4 seconds.
And I didn't count the seconds. I wasn't going to get that specific. But yeah, they were up there for a very long time because pizza was at risk. Pizza was
and bragging rights.
More so the bragging rights. Between those two, are you kidding me?
I love how competitive Phil and Stacy are.
Now, when it comes to Jenga, a great game. Do we love Jenga?
Yes.
That was a Jenga match for the ages up there going over 6 hours. We are pretty familiar with Jenga matches from the ages too, aren't we?
Yes.
Check this out. So it's a Jenga match for the ages. Let's see how it ends. My turn? All right, it's my turn. Now, I don't know if y'all are similar, but Shelby and I would compete at just about anything. Even like who can get to the car faster coming out of TJ Maxx. Jenga match for the ages. So yeah, when it comes to Jenga matches, it's pretty serious. 2 hands.
That was a good one.
She kept saying I was going to use the wrong hand. So just like most of our Jenga games, this one carried on and on and on. Jenga match. Until my phone died and the recording stopped. But I want you to see what happened. So here, I'm going to recreate it for you. With technology. Oh no, Jack wins again. Yeah, I know you lost that one.
I did. I don't like losing. I don't like losing to Jack especially. So we have to do a rematch of that Jenga game.
But you did lose that time.
I did lose that time, legitimately.
Unfortunately, fortunately for Blue, Stacy actually lost this Jenga match.
She touched with both hands.
You know, it's hard to say, right? Because some people would say, "Oh, Phil won." And then there's the whole kind of using semantics that actually Stacy lost by touching it with 2 hands, got disqualified.
They're both really, really good at Jenga, though.
Oh, I mean, obviously, but
that was so much fun.
The producers were like yawning, and how much longer is this going to take?
And it was so cold that night too.
Stacy's like, "It's going to take as long as it takes." It was crazy.
Exactly.
But what was on the line? Pizza being cooked over one of those solo stoves, which was amazing. You'll have to see how good that was, and they might show some of that on the next episode, so you get to see what that was all about.
Thanks, Camp Margaritaville.
But putting the gloriousness of the pizza aside, which you'll see on the next episode, unfortunately for the red team, because they did not win the challenge, they have to vote someone off.
That is is true.
And this is where it gets kind of sad or weird. We've all been together for several days, getting to know each other and really getting to know each other. And now the red team has to vote off a couple. And you're going to have to wait until this Wednesday to see who that is, because episode 2 cut it short and did not show who it was.
No.
Now we know what happened, but we're going to have to comment on that next week after you find out.
All I can say is, thank goodness it was the red team.
Wow, that's bold.
I know, but
because you would have felt really weird.
Them and not the blue team.
You and I know what it's like when someone on the blue team has to get voted off.
That is true.
Episodes to follow. It gets pretty dramatic. I can tell you this. Tears. If you like tears and you like crying, it gets crazy.
It does actually get really, really
Well, that's coming. There's tears to follow in episodes ahead. In addition, you get to see what happens with this red vote off, probably first thing in episode 3. Episode 3 is coming up this Wednesday, so you want to tune into that. After episode 3, our next episode on the Bimble Effect is going to be a commentary on that one. So if you enjoy the commentaries, please feel free to subscribe. We'd love for you to join us if you like hanging out. And we'll have a little bit more to come in addition to these commentaries as well in the weeks to follow. Some things that never mind. I'm not supposed to say, but it's going to be fun. So we would love to have you join us. Hopefully we can make you laugh with these future episodes and
not cry.
Again, I don't mind the crying. Remember, I don't mind the type of crying if somebody comes home from the hospital and everything's okay and they're crying happy tears.
Oh boy.
There's nothing wrong with happy tears. So that's okay, right? You all agree with me, right? Happy tears. There's a such thing as okay crying.
Yeah,
Such thing as good crying.
Good crying.
That's right.
Everybody needs a good cry sometimes.
That's a good way to end this one. Maybe we could all get together
and
we could just cry together. How about that? That sounds awesome. Just everybody get together and cry. Maybe we get a little drum circle going and we can tell poems. And
we'd rather laugh.
Yeah, we do. We'd rather laugh. But sometimes tears find their way.
True.
So tune in next week to see if tears found their way into episode 3 and what we might have thought about those tears. We'll look forward to seeing you there.
See you then.
Close. Oh, do the thumb again.
Oh.
No, wait. Ready? All right, we'll see you then. That was a good one. Let me try. Oh, they were both good. See you next week. Well, if you enjoyed spending time with us, and we hope that you did, we sure would like for you to come along for the ride. So feel free to subscribe and join us on our next adventures. We'll have some fun together. I promise.